Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the pride of Firelands High School, the 2016 Mighty Falcon Marching Band. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the One More Time concert. This year, the Mighty Falcon Marching Band is under the direction of Mr. Dustin K. Wiley, assisted by Mrs. Julie Stumphauser, Mr. Jake Willis, flag advisor Donna Boucher, percussion advisor Mr. David Jellin, and the student teacher Nathan Shook. Ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please rise for the playing of our Firelands High School alma mater, conducted by Band President Grace Boucher. Please remain standing as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem, conducted by Mr. Wiley. At this time, we will announce the members of our freshman class. When you hear your name, freshman, hopefully you know what to do. Hopefully someone has told you. Claire Boucher. Michael Campbell. Shelby Clark. Luke Dempsey. Daniel Giacopelli. Rebecca Hopkins. Christopher Jackson. Sierra Johnson. William Krejci. Anna Myers. Brooklyn Alice. Mary Beth Petrie. Ariana Seymour. Bert Tenorio. Jackson Thomas. And Lauren Widener.
Proudly on the field they stand, the mighty Falcon Marching Band. Led by Band President Grace Boucher, get ready to feel our sonic power. But who is behind you, just out of sight? Staring at you this Saturday night.
For Thursday.
Don't be alarmed and don't be annoyed as we play the epic rock hit, Paranoid.
Our subsequent super song of our sequence is a scintillating Santana single. Stay tuned as the selected super students sling symphonic sounds and our superb color guard squad shows their stuff through synchronized swirling of silk. Led on the field by our superior sergeant of sound, here's band director Dustin Wiley conducting Everybody's Everything. After months of training, the MFMB is prepared to go off the rails. Yes, our next track is music we have set to Locomotion. I don't want to toot our own horns too much, but we've worked our cabooses off to bring you our next selection. I think I can introduce our conductor, Band Vice President Cassidy Stevens with Crazy Train. It is with pleasure that we will now introduce members of the sophomore class. Beginning with Zachary Baldwin, Cora Bourne, Estelle Bowling, Michael Carty, Samuel Caruso, Allison Crawford, Trinity Craycraft, Kaylin Erie, Madison Flanagan, Nathan Hammond, Chad Heed, Hallie Cromer, Jasmine Munoz, Michael Nicolau, Tyler Rado, Ariana Reyna, Emma Sherman, Alejandra Silva, Isabel Soloway, Nicole Starnes, Tyler Velez, Logan Willis, Carly Watton, and Sydney Wright. Understand me?
Falcon Marching Band prepares to take flight. There's a fire that burns deep inside. We're ready to show our Falcon pride. A Metallica song is next up tonight as we display our marching might. Hear our band. We're off to Never Never Land. Here's Band President Grace Boucher conducting Enter Sandman.
The 1973 hit Radar Love is not about a weatherman expressing his affinity for forecasting equipment. In fact, it's about a man who has a special wireless connection to his love. Today, we call that texting. Just don't do it while you're driving or you'll wind up like the guy in the song. Band Vice President Cassidy Stevens conducts this hit from the Dutch band Golden Earring. We've got a song that's called Radar Love. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce members of our junior class. Alexander Ayala Jr. Alice Baird. Adam Bechtler. Jessica Bookdrucker. Owen Kogar. Riley Denny. Ryan Hoffman. Serena Hoffman. Samantha Jones. Ariel Langer. Aaron Lester. Justin Ollis. Grace Schlesman. Caleb Singleton. Tate Smith. Cassidy Stevens. Autumn Sweers. Jordan Wilson. Samuel Watton. And Alyssa Yorko. Now our next drill was designed by the conductor, our outstanding student teacher, Nathan Shook. We let him do it because he has experienced teenage angst far more recently than the rest of the staff. Perhaps we should have considered that he was born over a decade after this song was a hit. We feel really old on the staff. Once again, here is student teacher Nathan Shook conducting the 1984 Twisted Sister hit, We're Not Gonna Take It. For our next fun feature, we focus on filling the field with fancy, funky forte from the 5 fabulous fellows who formed Aerosmith. 4 fabulous flag flingers and a flurry of other Falcon seniors are featured in their fond farewell to Firelands Falcon Field. Follow our flag floaters as their fists furiously flutter fancy flashing flags featuring fine fabric forming flowing figures flapping flawlessly. Feel the flow of the fine Falcon Band seniors who come front and center for this fantastic piece. Led by our own Falcon father figure flapping his fingers fastidiously, here is band director Dustin Wiley with Dream On.
Go Silver! Woo, Silver!
keep everyone's eyes focused front and center as we introduce the members of our senior class at this time. Lexi Adkins. Kayla Bailey. Grace Voucher. Cheyenne Clark. Mallory Conlon. Maylee Foster. Sarah Gallo. Hannah Gerstacker. Andrew Hassel. David Hayes. Lexi Holowenko. Sylvia Krejci. Holly Lindsay. Katana McLean. Nicholas McCreary. Emma Mowry. Demetria Nicolau. Sydney Novak. Jenna Pleben. Grace Pahorance. Sophia Pahorance. Zachary Reidenauer. Libby Skolnick. Joseph Socha. And Nicholas Squires. At this time, the senior class would like to present the last piece of music from their senior show. It is a message to all of you in the stands from all of the seniors as we pay honor to the class of 2017 and to all of you in the stands who support us throughout these years. Here is Thanks for the Memories.
Seniors. First of all, thank you. I've shared this story with them many times, and now that I'm in front of you guys, it's a little bit harder. When I started at Firelands 6 years ago, something like that. After I finished band camp, I came to my first day of school. My first day of school, I walked into South Amherst Middle School. I walked onto the stage where 6th grade band met. These were my first kids. They were the first ones to sit in front of me as 6th graders. They were the first ones to hear me make bad jokes. They were the first ones to hear me yell at them for not paying attention and keep them on track. And all the way through that time, from then until now, they have worked, and the improvement I have seen from these guys have been amazing. I told them just earlier, there's always one song that stands out in the senior class list. This year there really was two. First of all is Dream On. With this group, their dreams will be their reality. They are a group of great imagination, of great character, and of great work ethic. These students truly are what dreams are made of. And I know they will dream on, and they will dream far, and everything that they could possibly dream of will come true. The other song that really stood out to me was Thanks for the Memories. Because what better way to summarize all these years of band than the memories? And I told them today, band is not about the director. It is not about the school. It's about them and the relationships and the memories that they form together. Through the relationships, boyfriend, girlfriend kind, the breakups, the friendships that are formed, and the friendships that are broken. Every one of these memories that they've made in this organization has formed them into the wonderful young men and women that they are today. I want to thank you, parents, for supporting them. Sitting through the rain, the cold, the hot, the not so hot, and everything in between. Because without the support from you all, they would not be here today. Thank you for the memories. The greatest thing about the memories is the process of actually making them. And know that although sometimes, what's the old quote? Sometimes memories leak out of my eyes. They will always be in my heart. Thank you, seniors. Thank you for all of the years.
Ladies and gentlemen, we wanted to take a moment and recognize our banner carriers, Patty, Nathaniel, Rebecca, Grace, and Joy. Yay for our banner carriers, ladies and gentlemen. They always try and steal the show off to the side like that. Thank you so much for coming to our One More Time concert. Everybody drive safely and have a great night.